Pound Radio was recorded in studio in the confines of the rolling hills, corn, and fields of Iowa. You can find Dog Pound Radio on Spotify, YouTube, Spreaker, CastBox, and iHeartRadio. Follow us on Twitter at CCA or on Facebook. Join the hosts Coach Banks and Doherty as they discuss the hot topics in sports today. Let's get ready to rumble.
Want to make a difference in the lives of others? Consider donating to Coaching Culture in Athletics as we strive to make a difference in our community. We are working on raising money for a tombstone for a Vietnam veteran. If you would like to donate, you can on PayPal, coachingcultureathletics@gmail.com, or via Venmo at Chuck Banks too.
Tonight's broadcast is sponsored by the Coaching Culture in Athletics Radio Broadcast Network. We strive to make a difference in the world one soul at a time. Be sure to check out our shows on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Spotify, CastBox, and many other platforms. Want to be a sponsor? Contact us at coachingcultureathletics@gmail.com. Be sure to be on the lookout for the upcoming book, Life of an Overthinker, and all of Charles Banks' books on Amazon. Sad fact in today's age that most people only have assumptions on the outside shell and don't take the time to get to know the inside of the soul. Assumptions and quick judgment often lead to distress and unrest in society as a whole. As an overthinker, it hits the soul a little harder overall. Questioning virtually every aspect of our lives, contemplating decisions, and never really understanding where we fit in the equation leads many of us to crisis levels of anxiety. Now back to the show.
All right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dog Pound Radio episode 3 tonight. We get Coach Doherty back in the, the live in the flesh. And we have activities director, Jeff Lamb, and we'll bring them on here in just a few minutes. But I do want to throw out a couple of things because as a former activities director, as a former head football coach and that sort of stuff, being able to step into a quality organization like the Fort Madison Community School District next year has got me extremely excited. And I will tell you that as an activities director, I understand the pain, the distress, the discomfort, the amount of hours, especially with young kids. Oh my goodness, man. I'm going to bring these guys, I'm going to unmute them, but I'm going to tell you right now that Jeff is probably pretty tired on a Sunday night. And you know what? Thank you so much for coming on Dog Pound Radio with Coach Doherty and I. It's excited to get back on the lamb, here with Coaching Culture and Athletics Coach Show and that sort of stuff. Jeff, wholeheartedly, I understand, man, the hours and the agony and the pain. And do you practice when you're walking like in a crowd? Do you practice not making eye contact, or have you not been in it that long?
No, I love talking to people and I love listening to everybody. So I try to see everybody and make sure I get to say hello. But every once in a while, you need days like today where it's raining and you just don't leave the house.
Oh, 100%. Now, I can remember coming in and you were doing popcorn and stuff and the concessions when I reeled into, that wrestling meet before, we had went live with me joining you guys. And I can remember you so busy and you looked extremely tired, man. I'm not going to lie. Winter takes it out of you, doesn't it?
Yeah, winter's tough for me. I love being outside and everything, sports, everything we do. So winter, when you get inside, the basketball games, the wrestling, everything else inside the gym are a little bit difficult for me to take, but it's also exciting.
Okay, so I got to throw this out there before we start the questions, and I know, and also, ladies and gentlemen, stay quick because the next segment is what's bugging Coach Doherty. I just love that segment. I don't think anything's bugging him at this point, but. But before we get into that, I just want to tip my hat to you because I heard that you were in show choir as well. I was too. I don't think Coach Doherty was, but I would have loved to see him in spandex.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
So did you wear like the makeup and have all the funky hair and stuff, or?
I tried to run away when they were putting the makeup on, but somebody always caught me. So I did all of it. We were full in, and actually my wife was really into it, and she enjoyed it. We enjoyed it, and had a lot of good times.
So were you a baritone, a tenor, or a bass?
I was a bass.
Okay. All right, Coach Doherty, you ready for the question? You got to go first, and then we'll let Jeff go second.
Okay.
All right, here's the first one. If you were to create a slogan for your life, what would the slogan be? Easy money.
Family. That's it. That's what we live by.
Jeff?
That's a tough one. I don't know if that's, I think if we're going down to like one word,
No.
experience.
Slogan can be
anything.
Yes.
I actually like the answer experiences. I love getting out and doing new things. I love getting out and seeing that, whether it's with my family or whatever it might be. Family is extremely important to me, but yeah, definitely experiences are a huge thing for me.
Me, get it done.
Mm.
Or is it get done? Because we live in southeast Iowa. I mean, that's got to be an in there or something. All right, so question one was easy. All right, Jeff, you get to answer the first one on this one. What's the grossest food you have ever had to eat to be polite?
I hate asparagus. I'm sorry. It's just one of them that I don't like. So that's as much as I can give you. I like a lot of food, though.
Derek?
So I was on a vacation visiting my grandma in South Carolina, and one of her friends invited us over, and they served pea soup. I don't know if you've ever had it, but it's absolutely disgusting. And my grandma gave me the look after my first bite, like, shut up, eat. And, I did, because grandma's scary, so.
Lord rest, my grandmother's soul, Gracie Mae Clark, she made some cookies one time, and my mom kind of smacked me on the back of the head because I was like, man, this is gross. It was when she was getting older. I think she was close to 76, 77, and I think she put the wrong ingredients in it. So, but anyway, I tried to be polite, but got smacked. All right, a couple more questions, and then we'll rock and roll here. Oh, before we do that, we did get a comment. Okay, there it is, folks. Mama Doherty's watching. Huh?
My mama.
Always supporting us.
Absolutely. And she's like
She's the best.
Yeah, and she's the ultimate person to come in and watch our shows, which is awesome. So at least we know one person watches, Coach Doherty. That's funny.
For sure.
All right, here's a good one. Okay. What's the strangest family tradition in your family? And I want to start out with Lamb because I want to hear something maybe about his brother.
I don't know about traditions, but when the boys get together, we typically don't play, or we're very competitive, we'll say. So I think maybe it's not a tradition, but I can tell you there's been a few Uno games that have ended in Grandma telling us we have to stop. And there's been a few ping pong matches that have ended up with Patrick going through the entire wall. So it's usually not good when we start to compete with each other.
Coach Doherty, do you have a strange family tradition?
I don't. I guess the closest thing to it, and probably my favorite thing growing up, was Easter. And my grandma was really, really big into Easter before she passed away. And it was a big deal to her, and I think it's probably why it was a big deal to me. And my dad would be upset that he has to hide Easter eggs for adults, but me and my siblings, up until just a couple years ago, it was a full-on Easter egg hunt, and as Coach Lamb was just talking about, it's competitive. So full-on tackles and go for it.
I can imagine the twins taking you down and holding you down as they were, trying to grab those eggs. Anyway, the strangest family tradition comes from my wife's side, so it's not really my side. But I can remember the first few Christmases and Thanksgiving gatherings. There was a butter knife. Everyone had their own butter knife. Okay, so I wasn't used to that stuff. So I left my butter knife in the butter. Boy, did my father-in-law give me the dickens that night, man. He was like, "You have your own knife. You use it and get it out of there." But anyway, that's all the questions right now. But look here,
Yeah.
Mama Lamb. Okay,
Well, I'm glad she figured out which Facebook account she was supposed to be using today.
Man, she's all over social media. She follows me on Twitter. I love it. She's so awesome.
She loves being a part of all this stuff.
So, you brought up social media, Coach Doherty. How important is social media, and how are you able to maintain a positive role without accidentally sharing something you might not want to share? Is that why it's all Fort Madison all the time?
Yeah, actually, I was just at that coaching clinic, and I was talking about culture, and I think that social media is a huge part of your culture and getting information out there and being visual. I'll be honest, I post, but I don't do a whole bunch of reading or looking. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I'm not. I don't know. I'm not on there to read and stuff, I guess.
Now, Jeff, do you have Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, all that sort of stuff? Or are you more of the old school, I have Facebook and email?
We usually just use the Facebook. I have Twitter, but I haven't been on there for a long time. But I think the Facebook fits our crowd better with who we're trying to reach in my department. And we have somebody that helps me with that I wouldn't be able to do it without her. So, yeah, Facebook's where we're at most of the time.
Well, that's where the show's at, and it's also on Spreaker, folks, and you can find us iHeartRadio, Spotify, and about 15 dozen different places after the show has taken place. Now, let's talk about you tonight here a little bit, because you're kind of the golden child, the golden nugget here. And again, your brother's probably saying, why is he saying golden child? It's because he was first, Patrick. He was first on the show, so I had to throw that out there. Let's talk about your baseball career, man. State champion, and I can remember that great run that Fort Madison had, and then I believe was it the next year or a few years later the coach moves on to the collegiate level and that sort of stuff. But what was it like being on a state championship, state contender, and also playing college baseball, man? Props to you for doing that.
Well, the state championship was something. I mean, that's got to be one of the top moments of my life. I think that when you have something like Fort Madison that you are so invested in, and then you're involved in something you absolutely love, and you get to be around these people that are with you in classes, they're with you in all of these different things, and we struggled. I mean, freshman year we weren't very good, but Coach Birch had a lot of hope in us, I guess is the best way to put it. So I think my freshman year, we had mostly 8th graders and freshmen starting, and you had Chris Ramirez, you had Dustin Henniger, you had Brett Birch, Aaron Pence, just a ton of guys, Trent Carroll, that we were young and lost a lot. And then as we got older and older, we got better and better. And you could just see the team coming together and doing those things. So when we won, I still to this day remember Dustin Henniger. I pitched one out, and basically that's all I pitched in my entire high school career. It happened to be the last out of the state championship game. And I still remember Dustin Henniger tackling me and being under that dog pile. And one of the greatest experiences that I've ever had. College baseball, incredible. I had incredible opportunities, played in hundreds of different places, tons of different states, with a lot of different people, and loved it. I mean, it's hard work, but it was enjoyable, and I had a really good system underneath me. With my wife was actually part of that at that time. My parents tried to get to every game they could. So it was extremely exciting, and loved to do it, and I would do it all over again, I can tell you that.
I have to throw this out here because so many times when younger players move into a varsity role and they lose, sometimes losing can be contagious. Now, what did your coaches do, or what did you guys do as a group to foster that leadership to get over the hump and start winning and then ultimately pushing into that state championship?
Well, I can't remember who said it, but one of the teams in Major League Baseball is struggling right now. It was Dusty Baker. And they're not doing as well as they wish they would have been doing or wish they'd be doing. And he said, I'm not taking these guys out. We're building confidence. And I think that was a huge part of what Coach Birch and Coach Schmidt did was we struggled. I mean, there were times when you'd go 0 for 4, you'd make an error, you'd do something else. And every time when you walk back in the dugout, we might have gotten our butts chewed a little bit, but it was always, you knew that those guys had confidence in you, and that gave you so much more confidence in yourself. And so by the time we were seniors, we didn't fear making a mistake. We feared letting somebody down, but that meant we just gave all effort all the time. And we didn't start off real well our senior year. And I think Ryan Wilson will tell you, we had a butt chewing of a lifetime from Coach Schmidt, and it opened us up and woke us up, and we just went off from there. And I think we only lost 3 games the rest of the year.
Coach Doherty, I'll let you have the next question because I have a dozen, man.
Yeah, good. Well, just kind of interested in, your post-high school career, like what your journey looked like all the way through your playing career until you were finished.
Well, so I started at junior college, which was a really good fit for me. I was still immature physically and mentally. I don't know if I've ever matured completely with that, but the junior college really helped me out because you got a lot of different things, but I also got to play right away. And so I developed a lot. Had a good coach there, Coach Benzine, and he pushed us a lot. So freshman year, I hit really well, didn't field really well. And so I still knew I needed to develop a little bit. And then sophomore year, I kind of evened out and played pretty well. But then junior year, we ended up going out east to Philadelphia and playing at a small Division I. Big cities, definitely not my thing. And I think we have to find a way to make kids comfortable. And so I struggled. I struggled just not being close to home. I struggled, on the field every once in a while. And my claim to fame, if you want to say anything, is we faced pitchers like Justin Verlander, Sean Marshall, guys that made it a long way. And so it was a struggle to do that. And then my junior year, they actually cut the baseball program at the university that I was at. So we went basically next door, Westchester University, and I finished playing there. Really good coach, and I was really fortunate because I had a lot of them, and he ended up asking me to come down and start my coaching career where he went after there. So a lot of hours, a lot of times in the weight room, a lot of disappointment, and a lot of taking advantage of opportunities. My senior year, I had started nearly every game of my college career, and when I went into my senior year, I was not a starter. And so I went 9 games as not the starter until somebody broke their foot. And then I ended up getting an opportunity. I played the rest of the year. If I would have quit, there's a lot of times it would have been easier to quit, but I'm a better person and was a better player because I didn't.
How did you handle your mental health, at that point? Was there a coach that you could lean on? Was it your family back home? I mean, how were you able to overcome that? Because too many times, especially in today's society, it's real easy to quit.
Yeah, my wife. I mean, she was with me at that time as well, and we were both in a place that we weren't comfortable. She grew up in Weaver, and I grew up here in town. We're in a city that the 5th largest city in the country, and so I'd come home and she'd be there, and it was we always had each other, and we knew that. We had family that was close. I think my dad's cousin lived there, so we went over to their place a lot to get home cooked meals and things like that, and it helped tremendously.
Coach Doherty?
Yeah, minus baseball. What other sports did you do, and what was your favorite besides baseball?
I ran cross country, I ran track, and I played basketball for 1 year. My favorite, if I could go back and do one of the other things, I'd want to run the mile again and be in the shape that I was in. Now, I don't want to run the mile right now the way I am, but I I wish I would have focused a little bit more on that, and I think I could have been a little better if I wouldn't have done that. But you got parents, and sometimes my dad was the track coach, and it's not always easy to have people that you're a lot alike and not butt heads with them. So,
how were you able to handle that? Because I can remember my dad back in the day when I'd be pitching on the mound and he'd be saying, "Will you quit throwing crap?" And all that sort of stuff. And I'm sure, in the track, in the cross country, which your dad coached, I'm sure that he always like, "Man, you why are you 5 seconds slower than you should be?" Did you get those kind of conversations?
He's one of the best coaches I've ever been around. And I think when I came back, I was talking to somebody from town that we were just talking about coaches and the impact that they have. And they said something about how Mr. Lamb was just such an influence in their life. And he was so positive, and he was so this and so that. And I thought, who are they talking about? But it's just different when it's your kid, because I know he was hard on me for the right reasons. But he always pushed us to that point, but never pushed us over that point. And I remember when I decided not to play basketball, he said something, and I was like, you know what, that's not going to happen. And then 5-6 years down the road, I'm like, that's exactly what happened. So we butted heads a little bit. We still do. I mean, he was an AD here, and so we had the track meet, and he's like, you need to do this, and this, and I'm like, chill out. I'm trying to do this. And, but he was a great coach, and he pushed us, and I'm better because of him.
Was he harder on you or Patrick?
He was harder on Patrick, 100%. Both my parents were harder on Patrick. I think we always joke about it, but Patrick got yelled at for everything. Kevin was a little odd, just in the sense that he didn't really do much that warranted getting yelled at. And then I came along, and I was just really good at hiding things because I knew how my older brothers handled it. So they always used to say, like you said, I was the golden child, supposedly. Kevin's definitely that now, but they were hard on Patrick, and I learned to get around it because of that.
Yeah. Were you the baby of the family?
Yep.
That I was the baby of the family as well. Coach Doherty, you were not?
I'm the oldest.
See, so the oldest make the rules. The middle child normally gets smacked around a little bit, and then the baby, they're too doggone tired. They're like, here, play with the cell phone. I don't know.
Mom's gonna be really mad that I tell this story, but my two older brothers, I was a freshman when my middle brother was a senior, and they moved Kevin away to college, and when my mom got back, she cried for like an entire day. And finally I said, Mom, what are you so upset about? She says, I just don't have any more kids at home. And I looked at her, I said, I still got 3 years here. And she said, yeah, but you're never around. So, and she was right, but it's always funny. I love telling that story.
Well, now back in high school, because you were like the late 90s. I mean, what did you guys do in Lee County for fun? In Centerville, we used to drive around this stupid square and waste gas. I mean, just an absorbent amount of time. And I'm going to guess that you didn't have a cell phone. So what's the craziest thing you had to do as far as to tell your parents, hey, man, I'm going to be 15 minutes late? Was it a payphone? What was it?
Well, I never told them, which was part of the problem, so I was grounded a little bit. But the 16th birthday, I think like 20 minutes late getting home. I was supposed to be home at 12. I got home at 12:20. So I'd had my driver's license for maybe a total of like 18 hours, and I got it taken away right away. But for fun, we kind of same thing you did. We would go downtown, we'd drive around, we'd find things to do, hang out with each other. It was a great time. Honestly, without the cell phones, it was a lot of fun. Brett Birch was one of my best friends that we did everything together. And his dad was a coach, my dad was a coach, and we got a lot of interesting stories to tell from those days.
Oh, absolutely. Now, what did Fort Madison look like, guys? I mean, what kind of businesses did you have, like then versus now? And Why on earth don't we have a Walmart in Fort Madison?
I don't know. It looked pretty similar, right?
Yeah, I mean, the arcade was huge. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I wish we still had it.
Yeah, we spent a lot of times at the movie theater when we were, before we turned 16 and had free reign. But that was one of my best memories was down there.
You like the skating rink too.
Heck yeah, dude! Skate park was awesome. That was awesome.
Now, when was the first time that you guys got on the river on a boat?
I was probably 12 or 13, I think. And then one of the best things about Fort Madison is the river and all the entertainment stuff that we have from it. So I got a boat now that I go fishing all the time, but that wasn't until a little later.
Coach?
I think my parents left the hospital and went straight onto the river with me. So we're river rats. We've had a cabin since my dad had it before he even met my mom. So we're river people.
I've been on a lot of boats, but I've never been on a boat in the Mississippi. I'm just going to throw that out there. Anyway.
We'll make that happen.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, as far as cell phone usage, as far as social media, what kind of advice, Jeff, would you give to whether it's student athletes or parents out there? Because and you've got young children and I've got older children, so I've kind of been through the rigmarole a little bit with social media. But what do we do to fix the issues that we're seeing, especially like the quarterback here recently, who was the D1, who got a scholarship taken away from him for something that he posted like 4 or 5 years ago? How do we beat it in their heads that this is serious and you have to be careful what you put out there?
That's challenging. I think as a coach, I was really conscious of how much time they spend with it, but we can't sit down and say it's just done. You're going to put your phones over here. We're not going to have your phones. We're not going to do that. I don't think that's something that's realistically possible. So if we can tie in some of those things to what they're doing. So for us, when I was coaching softball, a lot of the video, there's a lot of technology that they can use. We let them have their phones at practice. We let them do those things as long as they were working on the things that they were working on. We had success with it, so it worked for me. I don't know if that works for everybody. The social media part, I wish that people would just look at the social media part from the positives of it and promote things that are good that's going on and different things like that. I think we just get caught up in how negative we view everything. And when I moved here, I don't want to say a lot of people, but I had the feeling that a lot of people thought negatively of the things around here. And I just encourage those people to go somewhere else and see what it's like somewhere else, because we have incredible people. We have an incredible community, and we've got incredible things that are happening. And we need to focus on the positive things. And I know that's hard. It's human nature not to. But if we can do that, the social media has kept me connected to friends from high school, from college. And I have people from Pennsylvania that I went to college with. So it's not like I'm going to be able to see them all the time. So I just be positive and do the best you can with that.
Coach Doherty, what's your favorite piece of social media? Not the one that you waste your time with, but your favorite piece or what version?
Are you talking about which platform?
Yeah.
I'm a visual guy, so I like Instagram. You see a lot of things real quick, so it's a lot of quick feedback, and I follow obviously a ton of football stuff, so something catches my eye. A lot of times colleges will have different drills on there, things like that. And TikTok, now that I've kind of got my algorithm where it's football and weightlifting and just that, I'm really starting to enjoy TikTok as well.
Now, I do know, Jeff, that he doesn't check his Facebook that often because of Messenger. Anyway, just had to throw that out there.
True.
I think that's what's bugging Derek tonight is he shot me a message earlier. He's like, where's this doggone link? Anyway. All right, so hey, let's roll into something that I think is super important, especially from the activities director component and that sort of stuff. I know that you really push through and you have your coaches' backs, which is extremely important. But the mental health facet, not just with the athletes, but with your coaches. How do you gauge when a coach might be near rock bottom or something, is just kind of out of whack, and then how do you build them back up to the point to where they need to be in order to foster those great relationships with athletes?
Well, I think that I walked into a situation that was just easy to handle. So we have coaches that are mature and have been around not a long time. I mean, they've been around it quite a bit, and they know they can kind of get a feeling for themselves. But I think most of the time, I don't know anything about soccer, but I know we won, and I know that we seem to play well. So I like walking over and just making sure the coaches know that, hey, I was here, I watched it, you guys did a great job, good work. Can I do anything? And I know a lot of times coaches don't necessarily think that we're thinking of them or we're hearing what they say, but I spend a lot of time making sure that I hear what they're saying and then do the best that I can. I think listening is just one of those things that listening to hear or listening to understand and not just listening to respond. I have trouble with that. I think a lot of people have trouble with that, but I try my best to just be that sounding board for them and not say, well, yeah, I had that situation too. I know that's not what they want to hear. So I hope that they don't think I do that, but it is difficult sometimes, but just listening. I mean, that's mostly what everybody needs. Kids the same way.
How do you balance your own mental health? Because I know that pretty much every day is, I kind of look at it like being the president of the United States. You're going to have a fire everywhere every day. There's something that's going to come up. Like, for example, I can't believe they stole my tennis balls or something like that, right? Because everyone's got tunnel vision, and the activities director has to be a part and see the entire dynamics of the entire school of all activities. How do you handle all these tunnel vision type people? Delegation.
I think that's the best way that I can put it. I'm not good at it. So fortunately, I have Jill. Nick Cheery is incredible in his position. And so any opportunity I have to pass something off on them, I do my best to do it. But I also believe that visibility is probably one of the most important things for us. And in my position, for a lot of times, certain things may not get done right away because I have to be visible at something else. And I think it's more important for me to be at a football game than to make sure that I'm getting something scheduled 2 weeks or 3 weeks ahead of time. So for me, I recover by being alone, being on the river, fishing, doing something. I just make sure that every month I take time to do that, and usually that recharges me, and I'm back at it, and I'm okay. So as far as that goes, it's just making sure that things run smoothly if I'm not here, and I feel like I'm doing a good job if that happens.
Because it is crazy as an AD, and then later on as a head football coach, and Derek can chime in too. It just seems like when you're an AD or you're a head football coach, your phone's never off, and this thing's almost 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. When do you silence your phones at night and you're like, no more?
You want to answer that, Coach?
Yeah, actually, my alarm went off 4 minutes ago. I have an alarm every single night. 8:30, I put my phone away. So I think with alarms, and Jeff and I have talked with the kids about this. I mean, it's pretty easy. Set an alarm, stick to it, and yeah.
And he does a lot better job than I do with that. There's my phones are always on, and there are times where we'll get something like the track meet. I wasn't done with the track meet until probably 10:30 or so, trying to figure out all that stuff. And then in the morning, it was 5:30 or 6 that my first text went off. But I think I do an okay job just saying, I'm going to keep my phone plugged in for now, and I'm going to go do my stuff, and I'll come back when the time has it. But talking to Scott Lamb, the AD up in Mount Pleasant, he operates pretty similar to me, that I'd rather just get it done and not be thinking of it than sit on it for an extended amount of time. So for me, part of the mental health is having the phone there and being able to say, this is taken care of, move on. And so we just have to figure out what's best for us and what works for us.
100%. Now, Coach Doherty, you were a rock star this weekend in my former hometown of Centerville, which, by the way, I'm getting red and black back on in the better place. Anyway, guys, Centerville, you're on our schedule this coming year and all that sort of stuff. But explain what type of a clinic this was that Danco put on. I mean, you were able to talk about culture. And, I just want to throw this out there again. You and I have been friends for a long time, and I've always tried to emanate, a positive culture as well. And, stepping into a position to work underneath both you guys is going to be pretty easy, in my opinion, because, our cultures are so similar. But what was that like? It's obviously an honor to be able to speak in front of people. And then also, slipping with old Coach Kaz and, basically, getting all Centerville's, good ideas so we can beat them 50-0, right?
Yeah, well, you said it. It's definitely an honor. Garrison Carter reached out to me, and he helps run this thing. He's built it into a top-notch clinic. I mean, it's awesome. It's at a great place, Honey Creek Resorts, right on Lake Rathman. So there's a lot to do. We started going as a staff a couple of years ago, and it's awesome because you can stay in cabins. And it's the first time that you get your staff together and you're not separated in a bunch of different hotel rooms all over the place. And just a really cool experience. So getting to go and talk about what we're doing at Fort Madison. I mean, I'll be 100% honest with you. The number one thing on my cons list of do I want to be a head coach was public speaking. So it scared me away for a while from even thinking about being a head coach. But I was scared to death. I'm not going to lie. Kind of going into the room before, I thought it was going to be just me. Who the hell wants to come and listen to this guy from Fort Madison talk? And they had an NIL presentation going on next door, so I thought people would be going there thinking, how can I make money and whatever else. But mine, I was surprised it was heavily attended. It was great. And we had a bunch of opponents and people from our district and conference in there. So getting to talk with them and build some new relationships. It was a great experience. I had a lot of fun.
Jeff, he was able to find out that Michael Kozarich up at Panorama, who's the AD up there too, is scared of ghosts. Anyway, I had to throw that out there. Okay.
I can't say the same.
You're not scared of ghosts?
No.
Okay, good. Anyway, that's okay. So we're nearing our 45-minute plateau here because I don't want to keep you guys up too late, and I have to have beauty sleep because I have to try to get through this 3 track meets this week. I think is what I have, and nothing compared to what Jeff's got on the docket. But here's a great question, guys, and this is something that we can put out there. Obviously, I love Southeast Iowa. I love the area that we're in. Birds of a feather flock together, and I enjoy being around like-minded, positive individuals. But let me ask you this, guys: why Fort Madison? Why stay in Southeast Iowa in a Fort Madison 3A football district or an area? Why Fort Madison? Let's talk about the positives, because I think far too often we talk about the negatives when we talk about our hometowns.
I'll go. There's people here that are making it a place that we want to be. Derek's a perfect example of that. Our coaches are a perfect example of that. And the experience that I had as a kid and the experiences that were created for me by the people are the reason why I want to be here doing the same thing. And we all grew up similar, and we all had those experiences, and I can relate to most of the people here in this town. And I struggled with that where at the other places that I was at, because, I don't have those same things. I come home and my mom's like, oh, this is where so-and-so lives. And I don't really know what you're talking about. And then it clicks. And I'm, oh yeah. Okay. So definitely the people, and I think if people come in here and they see what we're doing, it's going to be a lot different than what they anticipate. And talk a lot about like modeling the behavior that you want. And man, did I have incredible role models when I was growing up.
Yeah, I'm going to just piggyback off that. It's the people. And I think sometimes you do have to leave before you realize what you had. And when I was in college, I was like every other teenager. I couldn't wait to get the heck out of here, and I'm never coming back, blah, blah, blah. I get to college and going through that experience and just realize what a special place Fort Madison is. And again, mostly because of the people, but it's a unique place, and it's not for everybody, and that's okay. But people like Jeff and I, we choose to come back and we choose to be here. We're here because we want to be, and I love that.
Well, I'm just going to throw out that I'm originally from Centerville, which is it's a small Keokuk or a small Ottumwa, and all my Centerville fans are family. They can say whatever they want, but I am genuinely grateful for making Fort Madison my hometown. At this point, guys, and the reason why Fort Madison, folks, obviously it's because of people like Coach Doherty. People like the Lambs, or the superintendent, the school board members. They're amazing people, and I think oftentimes we struggle with the resiliency, and we see people just in print. But I will tell you, after spending a lot of time with a lot of people in Fort Madison, I'm truly grateful to become a part of this. And I'm just going to throw this out here because, folks, the Life of an Overthinker is coming out Friday, and I want to take the time while we're on air to thank Coach Doherty. He and my family basically saved my life when I hit rock bottom this past year, and for an organization, you, Jeff, included, for an organization to bring me in, I am truly grateful. And I'm here to tell you, man, I'm all in. #family, and I'm excited to see what we can all do together. It's like Coach Doherty would say, it's like building an army, and that's why Dog Pound Radio. It started out as, it's on the Coaching, Culture, and Athletics radio broadcast, but we want to make this dynamic. We want to raise up the standards. We want to make a platform available for young Fort Madison bloodhounds to run for us, to do play-by-play and all that sort of stuff. So I'm excited. I'm excited about having those conversations with the activities director, the superintendent, and all the coaches. I think the sky's the limit. And I know I sounded a little bit windy there, guys, so I apologize. But we're going to finish here. Jeff and Derek, what's your favorite places to eat in Fort Madison?
Submarina.
It's hard to beat Submarina. I agree.
Okay, Submarina, you better be sponsoring Dog Pound Radio. Okay, guys, stay on the line here as we call it tonight. For everybody within the Coaching, Culture, and Athletics Radio Broadcast Network and Dog Pound Radio, roll hounds. Good night.